I would like to start also to ask you, as Austria is a cultural center, what do you think can be done for Ukrainian culture to spread in Austria probably, and how to survive Ukrainian culture to protect it, because now Russian Federation also targets Ukrainian culture. If you know, the museum of Maria Primachenko was ruined, and also other historical and cultural objects. How Austria maybe could be a mediator for Ukraine on this point of view?
That you can do after a ceasefire. At the moment, there's no ceasefire. What we need is a ceasefire. We have not the explosion of the conflict. What we need is a ceasefire. We need more diplomacy in that way. We know that Putin is at the moment not movable in that way, but I think also Ukraine is not really willing. But at the end, we cannot shoot out this war. At the end, what we need is the protection of the Ukraine, the protection of the people, of the culture, of the land. In principle, Ukraine is a state, and the state has the right to decide about his territory. And I was 3 years ago on the demarcation line, where the people came from the east, pick up the money, the retired person, and go back. I was in one situation, I walked with my team some steps, and then I heard women crying, "Stop, stop, there are mines." And then the blue-dressed women came from Alo, and they showed me, "Look, there is a mine, there is a mine, there is a mine." So that was 5 minutes for the end of my life. Yeah? So we have a lot. Europe has to do not only, I know Ukraine is always thinking in weapons, but we have also to think now what Ukraine need to recover the situation.
And how do you see the end of the war, how it can end for Ukraine and for Russian Federation, and what should be done for keeping the peace in Europe and the world?
Yeah, what I think Zelensky said something at the beginning very right, that Ukraine need a kind of neutrality. But for those neutrality, you need the guarantee of Europe. Because I understand that will be generation that there is any trust back in Ukraine regarding the neighbor of Russia. But at the end, it can only be a kind of peace with a security guarantee for Ukraine. Russia has to go to international court about that. We cannot accept what happened. The international community must go on in crime war, and Russian has also to pay. There are different possibilities to pay what they destroyed. Yeah, I know it will be not the full, but we can take away accounts of the state of Russia in the world. They are everywhere. But also we can take away of those oligarchs who are supporting the regime.
Yes.
And there you will find billions in the world. And I think if Russian is not paying by their own will, so we have to help them to pay by this regulation. We frozen, also in Austria, we frozen accounts. So now when the world decides after a ceasefire, if the World Security Council decides, yeah, you need a judiciary basic for that. Yeah? That every state who frozen accounts can give that what is on that accounts to the Ukraine,
yes.
then I think 100 countries will do that. Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I believe. And also maybe like a personal question to you. What did you learn about Ukrainian culture or Ukrainian history or just Ukraine after the war began? And maybe to your mind, in the society, does the view of Ukraine changed and people learned more about Ukraine?
Yeah, we know a lot about Ukraine. We have in Austria, which are very welcome, by the way, a lot of refugees.
Yes.
But we did it in a good way. We offered teachers from Ukraine to be now teacher in Austria and teach their own children, so that they can continue the work. But we also took some buses and drove into Ukraine and picked up the whole place of handicapped person, heavy handicapped person. So all together, and if you have people with really heavy handicaps, you also need that the medical staff and the nurse staff and all the others come. So all are coming. And we had a big monastery where they are now all living, the nurses from Ukraine, the medical staff, the family, so that those people who under fear, mental, whatever, find a new and a safe situation. I think that is one way, yes, what we can do. And I have a lot of, I'm the director of a music academy, and I picked up every year musicians from Ukraine, from Kiev to Kharkiv to Odessa. And when the war started, we picked up the female students with their kids. And other musicians invited them to stay.
So it's very good that you're helping to Ukrainian families in this way, and yes, Austria supports and provides humanitarian aid for Ukraine a lot, so we appreciate it and thank you for this.
In short, we make a concert which is in Austria, but also by technical possibilities in Ukraine with Austrian and Ukrainian musicians to show life is going on.
Yes, it's a very good idea. Thank you very much.